here we will see some observed relationships between SDGs as per United Nations. Okay, so SDG 2 and SDG 1 and SDG 3, this is one set. SDG 3 and SDG 8, another set. SDG 6 and 12, another set. SDG 6, 7 and 1, SDG 2, 3, 8, 13 is one set, and here we have SDG 8 and 1, another set where we have this relationship, so 8 to 1. Then in this one SDG 11 and 3, then SDG 12 and 6, then 13 and 15 together, then we have 14 and 1 together, 2nd and 8th together, zero hunger and decent work. Then on another side we have SDG 15 and 1, SDG 2, SDG 8, SDG 13 and SDG 14. Concerning trade-offs, the most significant relationships were found between here. So you can see in this set, for the trade-offs, SDG 2 and 6, like zero hunger and clean water and sanitation. SDG 15, SDG 7 and 6, affordable and clean energy and clean water and sanitation. SDG 13 and 14, climate action and life below water. Here we will see the means ends spectrum showing the three elements of sustainable well-being used to cluster the SDGs. So how it is like a clustered, and this like a architecture that we will see here. So at the bottom we have natural environments or ultimate means. At sustainable scale it talks about staying within planetary boundaries, right? From this it goes to economy, technology, politics, ethics, or intermediate means. Okay, so here efficient allocation, building a living economy, this is the overarching goal. Fair distribution, protecting capabilities for flourishing, right? And at the top we have equity and human well-being or ultimate ends, right? Overarching goal here is a prosperous high quality of life that is equitably shared and sustainable, right? So this is how it progresses in this like a triangle. Yeah, this we have studied earlier, but I'll explain it here again, like how all of these like SDG goals and targets, indicators are actually arranged in under the overarching goal, right? A prosperous high quality of life that is equitably shared and sustainable. Okay, so in this one you can see three like a color schemes, like a green, these red scale and this yellow scale, right? So this talks about the relationship of 17 UN SDGs to each other, to the framework of ecological economics, and to the overarching goal of a sustainable, equitable and prosperous system of human embedded in the rest of nature. So at the level 1 we have ecological and economics, like a framework at the top, sustainable scale, staying within the planetary boundaries, okay, so that we do not exceed the kind of like resources which are already available on this planet, so our need should not exceed that. Okay, so natural capital, ecosystems services, and in the second one fair distribution of like resources and stuff. Okay, so protecting capabilities for flourishing, so the resource exhaustion should not exceed again the like reserves which are like available. Social capital, community surveys. And at the yellow scale we have efficient allocation, building a living economy, net economic contribution, GPI. And you can see these goals like listed down over here, right? So from the green one directly connected are 6, 13, 14 and 15, and some more are connected here. You can see this relation going to 1 and 2 also, right? And similarly from this fair distribution in this red scale, connections, direct connections in this red scheme you can see over here, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, 10th, 16th and 17th, and some more are connected here with the like a 6 it is connected, right? And yeah, it is connected to 15 also, right, on this side. And on the yellow scale the direct connections are to 7th, 8th, 9th, 11th and 12th, okay, and Yeah, some more connections you can see here to 17, to 16, right, and to 10, right, and then it is connected to second also, it is connected to 13 also, and yeah, this is it, and the first also it is connected, right. So overall, like this connection you can see of like these SDGs over like this framework, which is ultimately serving to the overarching like a goal. Yeah, this we have seen earlier. The influences of one sustainable development goal or target on another can be summarized with this simple scale. So that scale, like we have seen earlier, -3 to -1, -2, -1, 0, +1, +2, +3. Okay. So explanation part. Let me explain it. Again, this for you guys. Indivisible, inextricably linked to the achievement of another goal. Okay. So directly connected plus overarching, a correlational, like a growth is possible, of a higher degree. So if you boost like a one, okay, the other variable is also going to get like a boost with for like a very high degree. So ending all forms of discrimination against women and girls is indivisible from ensuring women's full and effective participation and equal opportunities for leadership. So no denying, if we improve like one, like a aspect, another aspect is going to get benefited, without any doubt. Okay, the +2 reinforcing aids the achievement of another goal. Providing access to electricity reinforces water pumping and irrigation systems. Strengthening the capacity to adapt to climate related hazards reduces losses caused by disasters. +1 enabling, creating conditions that further another goal. Providing electricity access in rural homes enables education because it makes it possible to do homework at night with electric lighting, right? 0 consistent, no significant positive or negative interactions, ensuring education for all. Does not interact significantly with infrastructure development or conservation of ocean ecosystems. So not so like directly or indirectly related. -1 constraining, limits options on another goal. Improved water efficiency can constrain agricultural irrigation. Reducing climate change can constrain the options for energy access. -2 counteracting, clashes with another goal. Boosting consumption for growth can counteract waste reduction and climate mitigation. -3 cancelling, makes it impossible to reach another goal. Okay. So fully ensuring public transparency and democratic accountability cannot be combined with national security goals. Full protection of natural reserves excludes public access for recreation. Yeah, here we will see a different, like a case example of green spaces, right? So green spaces in urban landscape, like how this whole like architecture work. So this is like the urban areas. In urban areas, there are buildings and there are external environments like outdoor, like spaces. In that space, we have gray spaces and we have green spaces. Okay. So in this green spaces, we have linear spaces, semi-natural, amenity, functional, right? So these are the like types of green spaces available in the urban like areas, urban spaces. So here we will see what does it mean, like amenity green space, functional green space, semi-natural and linear green space. Okay, from this source. Yeah, so subject class 1 and class 2, it is divided over here. So recreational green spaces in the amenity green spaces, right? In this, it can be in the form of parks, gardens, informal recreational areas, outdoor sports areas, play areas, for kids, etc. Then incidental green spaces, housing green spaces, other incidental green spaces, private green spaces, maybe domestic gardens, like a personal, like a spaces. In functional green space, we have productive green space, remnant farmlands, city farms, allotments, So those are productive green spaces where like some kind of production of agricultural produce or something else is happening. Burial grounds, cemeteries, churchyards, like the dead spaces, not significant use. Okay, institutional grounds, well, school grounds, other institutional grounds, yeah, in the third type, semi-natural green spaces, we have wetlands, open or running water, like places, marsh, like a fence and like marshy areas, swamps, etc. Woodlands, deciduous woodland, coniferous woodlands, mixed woodlands, like raw forest, what you can call. Other habitats like moorlands, grasslands, disturbed, like a ground. Finally, in the linear green space, we have rivers, canal banks, lakes, etc., transport corridors, rail, roads, cycleways, walking routes, right? And lastly, other linear features like a cliff and other, like a such natural features, right? So this is a constituents of, like a typology of urban green spaces. So what are the benefits of urban green, like spaces? This is the source. So on the three, like aspects of ESE, this evaluation we will do. So on environmental benefits, let's see it first. Improve, like it improves, like air quality. It helps in water filtration, saves water pollution, groundwater recharge. It helps in that because it retains, like a water in the roots of all of those, like vegetations, and slowly it helps, like recharging it. Stormwater management, yeah, so it helps in reducing soil erosion, etc., and manages water efficiently. Urban heat island regulation, it reduces temperature, ambient temperature. Yeah, GHG sequestration, it helps in that also. Wildlife habitat, biodiversity, and shade provision, yeah, greeneries and like shaded areas, reducing the heat footprint, right? On the social, like benefits, we have provide recreational facilities for like a functional uses of the society people, community gatherings and social interactions, like improve mental and physical well-being. Like in the recent years, you may be aware of, like access to open areas, green areas, open spaces has become a mandatory thing in the, like building bylaws or in the neighborhood or social, like plannings, where people should have, like access to the outdoors, right? So it helps in mental well-being also. It helps in education, beauty and aesthetics, increases sense of security. It reduces, like a crime. Okay, on the economic, like a benefits, like a factors. It helps in providing food supply, increases property value. If there are more green and interesting, beautiful spaces. It improves businesses, saves energy, creates jobs, promotes tourism, decreases needs for police and prisons, reduce pollution prevention measures, right? So multiple benefits of, like all sorts you can see. So with this you can establish a correlation, like how, like these ESC features, are related to this urban green spaces and how it can be planned. And finally, like we have this urban green, space and SDGs linkages. Okay, so in this one, we have this urban, green space here, and the three, like aspects, benefits are listed down over here. And from here, which are the, like goals and targets it is directly touching, that is mentioned over here. So under goal 1, it is 1.5 target. Then under goal 2, 2.2. Then here 3.1, 3.4, 3.9, 6.1, 6.4, 6.4, and so on. Right. So you can see goal 11, make like cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. Direct and indirect link. Target 11.7, by 2030, provide universal access to safe, inclusive, and accessible green and public spaces, in particular for women and children, older persons, and persons with disabilities. So you can see gradually it's going to be like, mandatory in the years to come. Okay, because the benefits of this are now, like a well known and well proven, well established. Okay, so this is the reason we are discussing it over here. Yeah, a graphical illustration of methods undertaken to characterize the relationships, SDG 9 targets and those of other, like SDGs, right? So in this one you can see this relationships, of three types: co-beneficial, like a synergies; neutral, like a plus minus 0, 0, 0, all of this thing, and this is in the minus. Okay, trade-offs, right? So on the plus side, in the co-benefit side, you can see compatibility of relationship is determined, and from here co-benefit prerequisite, co-benefit non-essential, so here the researcher has kind of given this as a co-benefit prerequisite context independent, co-benefit non-existential, context independent. And then from co-benefit non-existential, context, like a dependent, that is the further bifurcation. And in neutral, it is neutral only. And then in trade-off, there are two: trade-off prerequisites and trade-off essentials, non-essentials, right? So co-benefit non-essential context dependent, co-benefit non-essential, context dependent, co-benefit non-essential, context dependent. Okay, so this actually establishes the degree of confidence in relationship, through this like architecture, and it helps in establishing those relationships effectively. Lastly, we are seeing like this table. Okay, so in this arrangement, you see on the right side in this like a graphic, these goals are stacked in a unique fashion. Okay, so first we see 16, 10th and 4th. Okay, and then 9, 8, 5th, 3rd and 1st, then 12th, 11th, 7th, 6th, 2nd, and then 15, 14, 13th. Okay, so the proportion of targets with environmental relevance, okay, which are like a mostly like a connected to environment, like a relevance. So this is there like on this side. So all of these three are the highest like a environment related like SDGs, and then a little lesser than that we have like a this set of like a 5. Okay, then lesser than that we have another 5, and the lowest we have like these 3, right? So let me read this for you. The importance of environment within each SDG based on a textual analysis of SDG target wording as per UN 2015. The vertical scale is linked to the proportion of targets within each SDG that contain at least one environment related word. Environment related words were counted within each SDG target and include air, animal, aquaculture, aquifer, biodiversity, clean energy, climate, coastal, communicable disease, drought, dryland, ecosystem, environment, fauna, fish, flood, flora, forest, genetic diversity, resources, green space, hepatitis, lake, land, livestock, local product, malaria, marine, mountain, natural, nature, neglected tropical disease, ocean, pastoralist, peri-urban area, plant, renewable energy, resource, river, rural area, sea, seed, services, soil, species, terrestrial ecosystem, tuberculosis, water, weather, wetland wildlife. The count included close relatives of each word. Example, fish, also selected fishing, fisheries, overfishing, etc. And ranges from no mention of the environment, SDG 4, 10, 16. In these there is no mention of like environment related like factors, to environment mentioned throughout SDG 13, 14 and 15. Okay, so as you have understood, like these the last like a 3 sets, they are like a completely dependent on environmental related like a concerns, and with the leftmost like these 3 sets like a least or very little like a connection with the environmental like a related relevances. So this is this like another like interrelationship and architecture established for your understanding. So with this we have come to the end of like this module. Thank you all for joining. See you in the next one.